Watching George Pickens watch himself get drafted was one of the best moments of the entire draft weekend for me. For those of you who haven't seen it, I'll show a quick video, and if you already have, just relive this awesome moment. This man radiates AFC North energy, and I can't think of a better location fit-wise than the city of Pittsburgh. But this energy translates to the field as well. He is not going to stand down to any person lined up across from him. He is going to talk. He might get into a couple of fights, and he will get in your head. But most importantly, he will back it up. He just fell into the Steelers' lap at 52 in the second round, and this was an absolute steal if he plays up to his potential. But let me just show you guys what I mean. So in today's video, we are going to break down George Pickens' film. We're going to talk about his strengths and weaknesses and how he is going to fit in this Steelers offense. There's obviously a lot to talk about, so let's get right into it. And to me, George Pickens was and still is a first-round talent that the Steelers got in the middle of the second. And here he is at the bottom of your screen, but who's he lined up against? Let's take a closer look. And yes, that is 2019 number 24 Derek Stingley Jr., who primarily got drafted third overall because of this exceptional year he had as a freshman in the SEC, locking down everyone. Let's see what George Pickens does against him. As he gets lined up, we're on the 2-yard line, and so he is about to give him a fade top on the outside. And if that's what you thought, that's what Derek Stingley Jr. thought as well. He snaps off this route, breaks it on into the slant, and is able to make full stop. Terrible throw by the quarterback. He climbs the ladder and brings it down. I mean, he shook Derek Stingley so bad on this route that he made a full stop, climbed the ladder, and it still wasn't a contested catch. So if you're thinking, why is Derek Stingley, who's known to be a very smart and very athletic corner, why did he get burned so bad? That's because George Pickens gives more haircuts on fade routes than a barbershop does on a Saturday afternoon. He will go up and get about any back shoulder or any 50-50 ball. And if you see on a play like this, it really doesn't end up being a 50-50 ball. He doesn't win this rep with any sort of finesse or insane route running ability, but he wins the position. And look at right this. He just gets in front of the corner. This is not a 50-50 ball. This is a 90-10 ball. The corner has no shot. The only chance he has is if George Pickens drops it. And he did this consistently, and this is why I think going into this draft, he's going to be one of the most quarterback friendly, whether it's Mitchell Trubisky or whether it's Kenny Pickett. They are going to be able to trust him with how physically dominant he can be over smaller players. But we know a lot of guys like that, so I'm not saying this is why he's a first-round talent, but if you take anything away from this video in the next few clips we're going to look into, think about physicality and finesse and the beautiful combination that he possesses with both of them, using his image to open up the other one. Let me show you guys what I mean. And what do I mean by physicality and finesse? Well, I'll show you. This play actually has it both, but then I'm going to show you some clips where he absolutely abuses one or the other. So on this formation, I want to show you before we zoom in on the route specifically. Alabama right now has split the field in half. They're running man coverage on this side, and they're run sunning some sort of zone over here. And then what is Dante Lawson doing right here? I believe that's 32 for Alabama because he's completely squared off just facing this way. Well, what they're doing is the safety is keyed in on George Pickens, but Dante Lawson is going to try and jam him, get him off his route, completely take him out of the play because he knows that he's Georgia's best receiver. And now let's take a closer look, and now I'm seeing that that's Dylan Moses, I think, but let's see what Dylan Moses is able to do. So when George Pickens attacks him, he's going to create contact, and Dylan Moses' sole job is to jam him, get him off his line, which he can't even do. George Pickens does not lose a single step on this route, and when you think of guys with this kind of physicality, you aren't expecting them to be light on their feet and be able to just absolutely snap off like routes off like this before he gets to the sideline, before the safety gets there. Now let's take a look at some plays where he utilizes his finesse as a pure route runner and utilizes the corner's blind spot so well. So right now, as he makes his way up the field, the corner's not going to get a jam on him. As he makes his way, he's going to take an outside release. The corner opens up his hips almost right away. George Pickens sees this, and now it starts to take advantage of the fact because George Pickens runs a 4.47, so he has absolute burners. So what the corner has to do, he cannot turn around towards him because that's going to take way too long. So what he has to do, his hips are already facing this way. So what he has to do is turn open to the boundary and then get upfield and start running him with it this way if he doesn't want to get absolutely torched. But George Pickens knows this. He knows that he has to turn this way. He's going to play into his blind spot and take advantage of his image as a deep ball threat and snap this route off while the corner can't even look. He has to turn, and if he wants any chance to get deep with him, this is what he has to do. Let's just watch this all the way back because because this is beautiful. And this is the guy that was just snagging balls over everyone's head with all of his physicality. Outside, blind spot, inside, snap it off, waiting for the ball. And as he catches the ball, there's still 6 yards between him and the corner that was just in press man coverage. Or here, using your image to make an outside release like you're going to fade top him again. And then as soon as he turns his hip, snap it off back into the slant. Another terrible throw. I would really love to see him be able to catch and run with it and use his 4.47 speed. And this isn't a comparison, but it's the same reason why people were so high on Garrett Wilson with his ability to make and be a pure route runner and also be able to snag balls up the top. But George Pickens is taller. He's not as fast. George Pickens is a much better run blocker, but his ability, again, to use the corner's blind spot. We see the corner trying to make contact with him right here, and he's just going to snap it off. Cornerback is going to be completely out of frame. He has him lost just utilizing his blind spot, and I think he does this better than anyone else in the draft. And why I think he's absolutely perfect for the city of Pittsburgh is look at this outside release as he gets to the Wait, what was that? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, you guys, he is an insanely good run blocker, and he takes pride and joy in flattening cornerbacks, and I think this is going to be huge. Stand right over him, get the crowd pumped. They'll absolutely love this. And yes, this is number 31 overall pick, Daxton Hill, my Michigan team, and I saw this live, and he went right back to shushing the crowd. This was one of the most devastating blocks I've seen, with 2 hushes sandwiched in between, an absolute pancake block. And this is what he's going to bring to the city of Pittsburgh. This is going to open up. I know this is a cool highlight for him, but what if Najee Harris has bounced it out to the outside right now? Instead of getting tackled or having to make a cut, he is going to the house. And this is something that can't be understated. And the last thing we're going to look at is something I've never covered in a film analysis, but why I think he's going to be so quarterback friendly to whoever's lining up behind center in Pittsburgh. He almost has the sixth sense or ability as soon as he catches the ball, know where all 11 defenders are at on the team. And this is just an example, so I want to show you the full scope of things because in the other ones you'll be able to. But as soon as he catches the ball, his ability to catch it and then immediately turn upfield to make something happen is what I love. And I'm going to show you this is not the only time he does this, and his sixth sense always shows him what the right move is to make. And now if we look to the bottom of your screen, he's just going to be on a simple hitch route, and whether he sees it out of his peripherals, how he knows the route concepts are going up, or if he can just sense it, he's able to make a cut immediately. And this is huge. We saw in that Alabama clip how much separation he was able to create on a simple hitch, and what he's able to do consistently with the ball in his hands after he gets it is just going to be a huge asset, especially to a young quarterback that can just flip it out to him. I mean, immediately makes him fall. This guy's going to make a tackle, but if not, I would expect this to go a lot further. And again, turns this time when he catches it, he doesn't always just catch it and turn to the inside. As he sees the linebacker scraping across the field, is able to make it to the outside, able to make a guy miss who he just torched on the route prior. And I lied, one more thing. I told you he did run a 4.47, so you can hit him deep, but your margin for error for throwing a deep ball is astronomical, as he will go out, lay out, make the catch, make a fingertip catch, and if it's short, he's probably going to go up and moss the guy. So some of his strengths, being 6'3", 195 pounds, running a 4.47, he's aggressive, he's a physical, he's a nasty wide receiver who is going to be so good in the run game, but most importantly, he's a true route running wide receiver. Now, some of his weaknesses, there are some health concerns, is why I think he did slip in the draft. There are personality concerns, but to me, it's just not going to be a big of his deal. He just needs to be a bigger problem for the other team than he is for his own team. He can use the ultra aggressive and competitive nature to his advantage, like a Draymond Green in the NFL, making the fans and players hate him, but beloved by his locker room and his coaches. But if it goes the other way, I would ship him out immediately, because there's nothing worse than breaking the morale of a team with a diva wide receiver. But to me, personally, I don't think that's who George Pickens is. I think he's just very passionate, and he's looking to take out his aggression on the other team and really won't turn on his own team. And another negative is something I've kind of brought up throughout this video: who's going to be his quarterback? And if you guys want me to make a video on what I think it should it be Kenny Pickett? Should it be Mitchell Trubisky? Or should Mitchell Trubisky just have a very short leash? I think this was a great addition for the Steelers to make, and in my opinion, they got a first-round talent in the mid-second round, and for their sake, I really hope he plays well because their biggest concern, maybe outside of quarterback, with Big Ben retiring, was the offensive line. They addressed the quarterback situation in the offseason with Mitchell Trubisky and in the first round with Kenny Pickett. They addressed some offensive line play in the offseason, but I really saw them going offensive line here. They have a terrific young running back in Najee Harris, and I was really hoping they could put talent in front of him so he could really shine, but they went quarterback and wide receiver. And looking at the division with 3 really good young quarterbacks who all have good defensive and offensive lines, it is going to be an uphill battle, but this is the kind of guy that can needle the games and make consistent plays for the Steelers on the offensive side of the ball and really be quarterback friendly to whoever they decide to start. But that's what I think. Let me know what you guys think about George Pickens. He is more than just a menace to society, even though that is still a large part of his MO. But make sure to let me know what you think. Make sure to like this video if you like videos like these. Subscribe if you enjoy daily sports content. I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you so much for checking out the channel. And as always, I will see you all tomorrow. Peace!